I've got a top 5 list right here. We're halfway through the season. I did this after 2 weeks. And I figured, let me just wait another month and a half to see how it all shakes out. But I have some disappointments here.
Uh-oh.
The top 5 most disappointing teams through the first half of the NFL campaign.
Are we doing 2 through 6 or no?
No, we're starting with 5. We're starting with 5.
But we could just save so much time.
We're starting with 5, and I put this on this list because a lot of people thought they just needed to add a quarterback and they could just let's ride. And I think I said throughout the offseason, I need to see it to believe it. So this doesn't surprise me, but I think a lot of people are left disappointed by the 3-5 Denver Broncos right now. And they trade away Bradley Chubb, so you got to sit here and wonder what are they thinking about moving forward the rest of this season, and where do you just don't find the Bradley Chubbs anywhere, just hanging around. You don't usually trade away these top-notch pass rushers in the prime of their careers. So I in George Payton they trust, their general manager, but I don't like at all the way they've played football. The coach has made some really questionable decisions. And, man, if Russ didn't cook in the fourth quarter of that game in London, they'd be much higher than 5 on this list because they'd be 2-6. But you never know. That said, I think there's a ton of people that thought that the Broncos would be in the hunt for their division halfway through the season, and that Russ would be finding Jerry Jeudy and finding Cortland Sutton, and the running game would be what it is. Instead, the kid Javonte Williams really wasn't even flashing before he blew out his knee in what seemed to be a very normal running play. Just been a lot of disappointments for this team throughout, and the fact that Bradley Chubb's not there anymore, I think, is deflating for the fan base. Number 4 on this list is a team that I had winning their division, and that's not going to happen because they've already been swept by the team that's leading their division. And then this team was supposed to finally have found the right veteran quarterback, as they've been churning veteran quarterbacks in and out of the franchise for the last 2 years, and they did it again this year. The Indianapolis Colts at 3-4-1, man, are they disappointing. Matt Ryan's benched Sam Ehlinger. It's his turn now. And, he might go ahead and prove to be some viable starting quarterback in this league. I know I kind of went higher register right there. They fired their offensive coordinator entering week 9, Jonathan Taylor. If you drafted him first overall in your league and you've got a winning record and you've got a chance to actually win your fantasy league, then you're doing a great job. You might be looking at 3-4-1 in your fantasy league. That you might be right in the middle of the pack for your fantasy league with a shot at the wild card, but no shot at winning your division, because that's what the Colts look like right now. And the offensive line has been patently disappointing. Matt Ryan is benched essentially because they couldn't protect him. He needed that sort of protection. That's why you brought him in. You knew he was one of those iron deers on the front lawn. So they're 3-4-1 entering week 9. Very disappointing. I think everybody can guess what the final 3 teams are on my list, but they're going to be ordered in different ways. I knew they would struggle because their best wide receiver said, I want out, and they showed him the door, even though their GOAT quarterback, who's won back-to-back MVPs, was, one would think, expecting him to stay because he stuck around for an incredible contract for him. But the Green Bay Packers at 3-5. All those kids that they thought could grow up fast. Aaron Rodgers 2 weeks ago is talking about, let's simplify things. This is when the simple stuff's supposed to have been down. You're supposed to have simplified this stuff already, and then you start opening the playbook. The defense has been a little bit troubling over the last couple of weeks. There are only 3 on this list because I did, believe it or not, see some positives in their loss to the Bills. They committed to the run, and they ran it effectively against a very stout front 7. And the kids Dobbs and Toure made plays. Dobbs made a nice play in the back of the end zone. Beautiful play. Spectacular grab. And that kid Toure, their 7th-round pick out of Nebraska, made an adjustment that looked like something a veteran receiver will do because Aaron Rodgers wants him to do it. That said, 3-5. Nobody thought they would be in this situation behind the 6-1 Vikings at this point in time. Number 2 on this list, I thought they would go to the Super Bowl. I thought they were my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, and that doesn't appear to be in the cards right now. And I know they looked dreadful at the Thanksgiving point of the season in the year in which they won the Super Bowl. But the 3-5 Bucs are number 2 on this list. Ooh. I didn't see this one coming, and, you know, if you told me they'd be 3-5, I'm like, I guess Godwin's not playing at all. No, he's playing.
Yeah, he's out.
And you'd be like, I guess what? Leonard Fournette's not playing? No, he's playing. The offensive line getting banged up the way that it didn't help. Brady is not playing well at all compared to what we expect from him. Obviously, his personal life, at some point, one will hope that we're going to stop talking about it. But right now, the first half of the season is informed by a lot. The one thing that really, really is disappointing about this team, other than the record, is the fact that they can't run it and they can't stop the run. I mean, Devin White didn't talk to the media this week, turned it down. You see Warren Sapp, our buddy 99, called him out on Instagram, showing a play against the Ravens where he jogged after the ball carrier, didn't even come close to the ball carrier. I mean, if this is the way things are going for the Bucs, talk about disappointing. And then number 1 on the list. This team is so disappointing that their head coach apologized to the fan base after losing this past week to fall to 2-5 after getting shut out. Roll it.
Obviously, that wasn't good enough in any way, shape, or form, and that's my responsibility. So I have to do a much better job of getting ourselves ready to go here. We're better than that, and I apologize to Raider Nation for that performance, and again, I own that. That's my responsibility.
I own that. That's my responsibility. Can also be attributed to my nonstop table pounding and predicting that the Raiders would win the AFC West. I was zagging when everyone was zigging. And boy, did I get the ziggy from this team. I put it out there because I saw Devontae Adams hooking up with his old BFF from college. When a new quarterback wide receiver combination is born, these guys usually have to go somewhere warm for a long time and rep like crazy to get on the same page and figure out what a look pre-snap in one direction or the other means and what that hand signal means and all that. Not these guys. Not these guys. Chandler Jones, 100 sacks in his career being added to Max Crosby. I like that too. And I like the way that the Raiders finished last year. Normally that translates. But they got rid of the coach who was part of that. The adversity that the Raiders went through last year to make the playoffs and almost beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, and that team almost won the Super Bowl. I put it all together and I'm like, okay, I see everybody loading up in the division. I'm going with the Raiders, and boy, was I wrong. So I need a personal phone call. Coach McDaniels, the autumn wind is my reputation, and it's sunk. And scene. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.